Good evening. Today on the B broadcast, we will be talking to none other than Mr. Damario Berry, the man who says everything is merry with Berry. Joining us all the way from Northeast St. Anne in the cool community of Lime Hall, will be blessed with the past head boy of the Ferncourt High School and past executive member of the Sixth Form Association, who sees it fit to run yet another year. I am Bobby Francis. This is the B broadcast brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. We'll be right up after this. Good evening. Welcome to the B broadcast brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Yorkcastle High School. I am your host, Bobby Francis, and we're joined this evening with Damario Berry, the man who says everything is merry with Berry. Obviously, no stranger to the field of leadership and wants to grace the SFA with his presence once again this year. Good evening, Damario. How are you?
Good evening. How are you? I'm good.
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you feeling tonight? How are you coping with COVID-19?
Well, I'm coping COVID well, doing the usual staying in and taking the necessary precautions.
Interestingly, Mr. Berry, when we announced the elections, when the Sixth Form Association announced its elections, a nomination period went on for quite the long while. There was no other contester for the position of Senior Vice President. How does that make you feel being the only man in the position?
Um, I was kind of looking for competition and see what the other students have to offer, but it's okay. Make me kind of relax.
What do you think about it, though? Do you think it's a case where students are intimidated by the fact that you're returning SFA member, or they just feel sorry for you and want it to go through? What do you think?
Um, I'm not sure, but I don't think they feel sorry for me. Um, I'm not sure. I would have to ask.
You'd have to ask. And you think
Yeah.
if there was a threshold of votes you had to pass, I don't remember what your approval rating was like. I think it was 76%. Do you think if there was a threshold you had to pass, you'd pass that comfortably with the electorate?
Yes, I do. I think I would pass comfortably.
What position did you serve in last year, though, Mr. Berry?
I was the junior vice president of the Sixth Form Association.
Tell us about your accomplishment as junior VP that makes you befitting to become the senior vice president this year.
All right. So as junior vice president last year, I worked hand in hand with the vice president and also the president. We helped to plan the events such as the Sixth Form Association luncheon, and we organize different events such as plant a tree. Yes.
Fair enough. That sounds lovely. Tell me something, uh, Mr. Berry. We have some new kids on the block this year, just coming in for the first time at Yorkcastle High School. How do you want to tell those students who don't know you that they can trust you as their senior vice president?
All right. So personally, me as an individual, I believe in trust and teamwork, and I ultimately want to be seen as a figure of trust for the students coming into your castle. And I believe I'm someone who has the image and personality of someone who you can come to, you can talk to. I'm laid back, I'm open, I'm very optimistic. So I think someone will be comfortable talking to me.
Have you been paying a close eye to the elections?
Yes, I have.
And what do you think about the elections so far?
I think it's going really well. I think it's the first year. Well, I can't say that, but from I've been at York Castle, it's the most fun.
I think I didn't catch that one just a while ago. Could you repeat that?
Oh, I said, from I've been at York Castle, this election is probably one of the most festive I've seen. The students are really cooperating and putting their best foot forward, I should say. Yes.
Very much. Who you supporting for President Berry?
All right. So I know the two persons that are running for president. I know Omar as a more involved person. And I know I worked with Tiamoy. Tiamoy was the secretary of the Sixth Form Association. And I believe she is capable of doing a great job. We also work hand in hand as she is the president of the Optimist Club. So I can't really say, but we have some good candidates.
Fair enough. But if you were to bet on one to win, who you think would take home the victory this year?
All right. Tiamoy.
And why you say that?
She is a people's person. Both of them are people's person, but Tiamoy is a people's person, and from what I've known, she can get the job done, and she will get the job done.
I don't think Omar can get the job done.
Yes, Omar can get the job done, but I've never seen him in this category before, and I totally support him in whatever he does. But I have to speak from experience. Eh?
From experience. So you think making a statement like this now and then Omar becoming the president, you think that's going to create a hostile working relationship between you and your president?
I don't think so because I've been speaking to him for a while, and he looks like he's someone who is open to suggestions, and yeah, I don't think it would be a problem. Mhm.
Fair enough. You served on the Sixth Form Association last year. How was it? How was it serving, on the administration?
Can you repeat for me, please?
I'm saying you served on the SFA last year. How was it? How was your experience on the SFA from 1 to 10?
I wish I was a little bit more involved. It was kind of a blur, but it was a good experience. So this year, working with the president, I want to be more involved. We can accomplish more, you know. I think it was one of the reasons why I was probably laid back a little. I was new to the school. I was getting used to the environment and getting used to the students. Yeah.
You mentioned it was a bit blur. Who do you blame for the blur? Yourself or the
I totally
administration?
blame myself.
Okay.
I should speak about. Yes.
And you've been head boy, at Ferncourt High School, and now you're here. You've served as executive in SFA, and you're looking for re-election, or should I say reinstallation once again. What's your worst moment in leadership?
Wow. Could you repeat? I didn't hear what you said.
Right, I realize you tuned out there. I'm saying you have, sir, you were a head boy at Ferncourt High School. You
Yes.
served on SFA executive, and now you're seeking reinstallation again. What would you say is your worst experience in leadership so far?
My worst experience in leadership. I don't really take any experience as worst experience because I don't put that in my brain as a worst experience. I try to learn from a mistake. So I think everything happened for a reason, and there is always room for improvement. So
For
I don't
improvement,
really have a mistake. You know?
no problem
Yeah.
with that. Fair enough. People love to say that there's always an ongoing feud between the prefecture and the Students' Council, with the Sixth Form Association being the middleman. What do you have to say about that?
That is true. Um, I think the Sixth Form Association could be the middleman, uh, but I, I don't really know what to say about that. But what you said is true. There's always a conflict between the prefecture and the student council. And I think it would be really good if all three student bodies or executives could work together. We could achieve greater things, right?
You don't think they work together as it is now?
I do. um, at
Or
your
you think there's
castle,
room for improvement at your castle?
at your
You think there's room for improvement?
at you, they
And you
do
think
work
as
together at your castle, but
okay, that's good. And you think as senior vice president of the Sixth Form Association, you could be that person to bridge the gap.
yes, I totally believe I could be that person to bridge the gap.
But you think you're the best person to bridge the gap, though, knowing that you have experience on prefectures, head boy at that, and none on the Students' Council. You think people would believe you're being fair?
I would have to make them make that decision, right? Yeah. People's choice.
Fair enough. Well, I'm getting my signal. We're going up on a break. We're talking with Damario Berry, the man who says everything is merry with Berry after serving as head boy at Fern Court and coming on in the Sixth Form Association here at York Castle. He's looking for an easy re-election, an easy reinstallation. Let's hear all about it right after these messages. Happy to have you back with us. You're watching the B broadcast brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of York Castle High School, a union you can trust. I'm your host, Bobby Francis, and we're speaking with Damario Berry here this afternoon. After championing as head boy at Fern Court and junior vice president in the Sixth Form Association, he seeks another year as senior VP. Chatting with Mr. Berry this afternoon. Mr. Berry, tell
Yeah.
us, what's the first task you would now tackle as the senior vice president of the SFA?
So as the senior vice president of the SFA, we are, I don't know currently when we begin, but using the month that we're in, we're actually in youth month. And what I would love to do is to build mental awareness among youths, because it's really a problem that is overlooked in Jamaica. And if we could work on that, especially now it's COVID time, a lot of students are with mental health. So if we could build on mental health awareness, I think we could.
Fair enough. We recognize, though, that of all the candidates, you're the only candidate who has not released a manifest, or is it that you're complacent because you have no competition? What do you say to that?
No, I'm definitely not. But
So
I
why
thought
have an action?
what I would love to do, or let us say, I would not want to give. Hello, all right,
Hearing you.
all right. I would not want to give the students outlandish or empty promises and things that might or will not have happened or might happen. But I think most of the things that I want to accomplish will be expressed through my speech that will be released later on.
Very closely because I'm sure you'd like to see who your executive will comprise of.
Yes.
Fair enough. Over by your junior vice, we see we have two formidable candidates going up against each other, Mr. Berry. One of them must rise as your junior vice president, Lennon Richards, who is campaigning on the slogan to become the coolest VP alive. And then we have Paul Jones campaigning on the slogan, leadership skills like no other, no need to bother. What do you think about that race? You think it's as sophisticated as you want it to be?
All right. I can't or one candidate. I don't really know Lennon that much, but I know Paul Jones because he was my deputy at Frankfurt High School, and then he was the head boy of Frankfurt High School. And I can say Paul is a very great young man. He's very organized, he's very on time, and he gets work done. So
You
I
sound
would
like you're
definitely
campaigning now.
I would
So,
definitely recommend Paul because I know what he can do.
all right. So first you ousted out Omar Brown from the executive, and now you've ousted Lennon Richards. How are you gonna work with it if Lennon becomes the VP and Omar becomes the president?
Um, I did not outside out Omar. Yes, we can work together. We can. I believe that we can work.
You
That'd
don't
be
think he
great.
can do that?
No, I said it would be great. I said it would be great.
Right. But do you think he can do that?
I think he can do it. Well, the question is, do he think he can do it?
Right, right, right. You think Paul can balance his time well too?
Uh, Paul supposed to answer for himself.
Okay, just asking your point of view, Mr. Berry. How do you manage your time? You seem to be a very busy man. Commitment is of the essence. And last year, you have admitted to us that you weren't able to commit. You're a bit laid back. How can you promise us that should you become the senior VP, we should rally around and keep a referendum to oust you out because you're not committed? How do you manage your time?
So I've gained a few more time management skills over my time quarantining. So I've formulated a calendar. So I put my events on my calendar, and I think that's worked for me really well. So I use a calendar to manage my events. I think that will work for me throughout the year. And I
Fair
have
enough.
person, that they can rely on help you.
Right,
And it's
right.
always that help if you don't know to do something.
Fair enough. People who are overweight tend to create a calendar and a schedule to ensure that they can lose their weight and usually have good persons around them to help them. But, unfortunately, creating the calendar and sticking to the calendar is a whole different discussion. Can you assure your electorate that you'll be willing
Mm-hmm.
to not only
Yeah.
create but stick to that calendar or schedule? Right. I'm saying to you that oftentimes persons who are overweight tend to create a schedule and a calendar to help them deal with overcoming that particular challenge. And students who want to study oftentimes create schedules to help them to study. But creating the calendar, creating the schedule is one discussion, but sticking to it is a total different type of discussion. Can you assure us, the media and their electorate, that you'll be willing to stick by your commitment?
Yes, I believe that is uh, that personally that you have to work with. How well do you want it? How much do you want to achieve this stuff? Are you willing to sacrifice such and such for this? So how much do you want it? Yeah.
Fair enough. Tell me something about yourself that others may be surprised to learn about you, Mr. Berry.
So most persons don't know that I did track and field, and I don't think they know that I sing on the praise and worship team at church.
You're a Christian. I think that should be the thing many people didn't know. I'm joking. Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you have any role models, Demario?
I yes, I believe you asked me this question in the prefecture interview once, and I
You
said
know, I interview.
my yes my role model is actually it would be a role model more. It's more someone who I look up to, and that's the future me. I don't want to disappoint the future me. I see the things that he wants to accomplish, the things that he wants to get done. I see what I have to do to get that done. I think that's my constant drive. That's my continued motivation. And I just get emotional talking about how far I want to reach in life.
Fair enough. And we don't want you to get emotional here this evening and lose the girl electorate. You might need to be supportive in this election. Let's pull up the polls for some of the positions, though, and let me hear your feedback on all of that. Let's pull up one of these polls for Secretary, Events Coordinator, Public Relations Officer, Treasurer. We already talked about the Junior VP. We already talked about the President. Let's talk about the other polls and hear what Mr. Berry has to say. Looking on the screen now, we're looking at the Secretary's race. Sabia Anderson, Rebecca James, Danica Brown, Telita Thorpe. Who do you think going to win this election? Who would have your vote, Mr. Berry?
It's either between Danica Brown, but I still go more towards Danica Brown. But it's either between Rebecca James or Danica Brown. I've seen
But
Rebecca
it
James. I
seems
don't
as
know
if
her, but
you're
she's been campaigning.
who you don't know but has been campaigning.
Rebecca James. I
Okay, but
see
it
her.
seems like your math is out of place, man. Danica is third place, suffering significantly under 27%. How are you predicting that Danica is going to be out of it? How are you overlooking Sabia Anderson, who's leading by a clear 7%, and put it to Rebecca and Danica? What's happening there? You don't think Sabia has what it takes?
Well, it's lovely that Sabia and this is lead at 27, but I'm speaking from what I've seen. I've seen Rebecca James campaigning, and I've seen Danica Brown campaign.
All right, let's hear what you have to say about events coordinator. That ought to be a nice one to hear about. Pull up events coordinator. Let's see who's in the lead and who has the Mario Berries, the incumbent senior vice president's vote.
All right, so I see Alisa
Seeing
Harvey's in the
Alicia
lead.
Harvey with 38 and Leopold Smith, famous Leo, with 37. We see Fulton all the way at 10 and we see 15 undecided. What do you have to say about that race, Mr. Berry, and who has your vote?
I think my vote would go to Leopold.
Why? Is it because it's a female leading? Is what's happening with that?
No, 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 no. I think we'll go to Leopold because I'm a person within the entertaining field that can get events planned, can get things done. I think was that type of person.
And is it that you don't know Alicia to speak of Alicia as well?
I, I do not know of Alisa Harvey.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Berry, you see, what we've come to recognize is that there is this male over dominance at York Castle. And when male leaders become elected and installed, they become so misogynistic in the way they deal with situations.
Um, Yes, there is a male domination at York Castle, but you see, as you're kind of breaking up.
That there is that great segregation between females and plan to.
Can you repeat the last part of the question, please?
I'm saying there is gender segregation at your castle, according to you, Demario. If you plan to bridge that, how
Mm-hmm.
do you plan to bridge it, or you prefer to stay far away from it?
I wouldn't prefer to stay far away from it because equality is a good thing, and we do have strong female leaders at York Castle that is very competent of doing their work. So I believe it's the person and what the person has to offer. Who's best fit for the job.
So you say you'd stay far.
I wouldn't stay far away from it. I would love to see um equality among us. Right. Stuck.
Is it that it's not an important enough issue to deal with, or is it too controversial for you?
I'm saying it is an issue that can be dealt with, but I don't think it's a one man thing. It is a problem that the student council, the prefecture, and the sixth form executive can tackle together. So that can be one of the goals that we as school bodies can work together on.
Do you think there's a struggle for power between the Sixth Form Association, Students' Council, and Prefecture?
I actually don't. From my time at York Castle, I haven't seen a struggle between it.
Fair enough. Let's go back to those polls, producer. Let's before we take our final break. Let's go back to those polls, the PRO polls. Let's see what the public relations officers' statistics are looking like and who has the incumbent senior vice president's vote. All right, we see Lamoy Nunes in lead over Amanda Slew. A tough one for you because you served with Lamoy, Bobby Sue, and Amanda Slew is also your former president at Fern Court High School. How do you decide on that one?
I believe they're both great leaders, and I do think that they have different style of leadership, and they have things that they both can offer.
But who would you
But
vote for?
oh Lord, I think my vote would go to Lamoy Eunice.
Oh, but Amanda Slew is your very good friend from Fern Court. Is it that you have no basis for your vote? No, because you gave Paul Jones the vote because he's your Fern Court past student. What's
Doesn't mean
happening? Are you
I
disowned
think
from Fern Court once again? Talk to us, Damario Berry.
I've, I've, I'm not a Fern Court student anymore. I'm now a York Castle student, and
So
they're
you're
both York Castle students.
disassociating your loyalty from Fern Court High School?
What is it?
You're disassociating your loyalty from Fern Court High School?
No, I'm not disassociating my
You're
loyalty
just
from Fern
temporarily
Court.
putting it down.
But we have built new relationships, right?
And we've also
With
lost
different
some apparently.
yes.
So what do you say to those Fern Court critics that are saying you have disowned your past school?
I don't know why they would believe so. As I did leave Mark up there. I don't know. But who do you hear that from?
No, I'm just saying, what do you say to critics like that who do say things like that? What the
I
B Broadcast Commission
my
continue?
I believe they should let my work speak for itself.
Your
What
work,
I've done, like on the things that I've
right?
done
Fair enough.
in
Sometimes
court.
it's just important
But
to spread your
it's time to move on, time to go different place.
Right. Not a matter of disassociation, it's a matter
Exactly.
of growth, and you pay homage to Ferncourt High School. As at the B Broadcast Commission, we tried to send a message to ensure everyone knows we're a melting pot of students. Fair enough, Demario. I think there's a treasurer's race. I'd like to hear what he would like to say. Let's pull up the for your final segment here. After this break, Damario Berry is going to tell us why it is the case that the sixth form electorate, although they won't be voting for him, should be leaving him to lead the sixth form association from the office of the senior vice president. We're talking to the man who says everything is merry with him here on the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of York High School. I'm your host, Bobby Francis. We'll be right back. If you're just joining us, boy, you've missed a lot. We're here speaking with Damario Berry. Everything is merry with Berry. Here on the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of York High School, a union you can trust. I'm your host, Bobby Francis, and I have Mr. Berry here, who has thrown his support behind Fiamoy Hill for president, behind Paul Jones for junior vice president. He has also suggested Lamoy Nunes will win the competition over the incumbent leader Amanda Snow. We've heard him there with treasurers saying Corey Gordon is the one to take it home. Unfortunately, he has no competition, but fortunately for him, because he can just focus on coming together with the best action plan, which he has given us a sneak peek into. Mr. Berry, what do you have to say? I'm going to give Damario Berry the floor to talk to his electorate for 1 minute and convince them why it's the case where he should be trusted with their opportunity to give him to serve this year once again. Go ahead, Mr. Berry, the floor is yours.
Could you repeat that last one for me, please?
I'm saying I'm going to give you the floor for a minute to explain to your electorate why it's the case they should trust in you to lead them once again as an executive of the Sixth Form Association.
All right, so afternoon again, everyone. I believe you can trust me because trust and teamwork is my motto. It's my bread and butter. And I want to be seen as um, a ultimate. I want the student body to see me as an ultimate figure. I should I? Mr. Francis. All right, so I believe in trust and teamwork. I believe in communication. I believe I have things set in place that I can use to improve the Sixth Form Association. I want to also improve mental health awareness within Newcastle, which is something that is really overlooked in Jamaica. And I believe with me, you're just gonna have fun. It's going to be a discussion. It's probably going to be a fight between us, but at the end of the day, we're going to get things done, right?
You believe there's segregation, Barry. It fits you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Well, That's an amazing time we have had this evening with Mr. Damario Berry, the man who says everything is merry with Berry. He's once again, after becoming head boy of Ferncourt High School, joining us as junior VP at Sixth Form Association, wants to continue his legacy as senior vice president in the Sixth Form Association and make that amazing impact. We heard from Demario Berry this evening on B Broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Dorchester High School. I was your host, Bobby Francis. Thank you for joining. Good night.